Hello, world and universe. Welcome to the Trevor Donald Experience. Manifest your truth. And if you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button. And for my continued followers, I want to thank you. And we got to talk about Jonathan Majors. He just got convicted a few weeks ago, maybe a month ago. Time goes by so fast. And he decided not to wait too long, and he did an interview on GMA a week or so ago. And his interview was a disaster. Not only did he get convicted for that situation that I don't think he should have got convicted for, she seemed to be the aggressor, his girlfriend, ex-girlfriend, even chasing him down the streets of New York City. It was all caught on surveillance cameras and all of that. But he's made several blunders. And as a middle-aged African-American man, for young black men that are listening, not to make this a race issue, but I think it became one in the court of law all the time when you have a black man and a white woman. That's the old mantra for the last 100 years in America, that he set himself up for failure. And one way he talked about, he saw a bunch of red flags and he should have left her. You young guys today, there are tons of women in the world. And if you see red flags and you see signs, leave her. Let her go faster than she came in. You're not stuck with that person forever. And he was not married to her. And he was the huge star. And she was not. And he had more to lose than she did. But evidently, many times, like minds, birds of a feather flock together. They had some similarities, or more similarities than differences, or he wouldn't have stayed that long. Because the recording that she secretly recorded him on when he was talking about being like Dr. King and President Barack Obama, and she needed to be like Coretta Scott King and Michelle Obama. Mind you, she was a non-black woman, so that analogy kind of falters. And of course, Coretta Scott King was part of the civil rights movement. I don't know where civil rights and activism had anything to do with his relationship with that young lady. So he was living in a certain falsehood and a Hollywood precipitous that does not exist. Hollywood is fake, and he started applying that to his real life by going on that diatribe about how he wants to be like Dr. King. You're just an actor. You're not Dr. King. Dr. King won a Nobel Peace Prize. You're not like President Barack Obama, who became the president of the United States of America. You're just a black actor. Let's put it in perspective. You're not curing cancer. You're not a transplant surgeon. You're not some big civil rights attorney. You're not shaking the stick and changing the moral fabric of America. In actuality, you are involved in one of the most demonic, symbolic industries that castigates a false narrative, Hollywood, each and every day. The subliminal messages and the negative imagery that takes place in Hollywood from years back to now, from cartoons to movies, to TV shows. The last person that Jonathan Majors should think that he's magnifying or implementing is Dr. King or Barack Obama. Now, politics is a little bit close to Hollywood. There's a lot of fakery and debauchery and lies and innuendos in politics. I almost feel like they're the second coming of actors. But for him to say that he was similar or wanted to be like Martin Luther King made him sound a little delusional. And she recorded it. And that was over a year ago. And he still stayed in the relationship. The two things where he faltered was when he picked her up and tried to shove her into the SUV, and she hit her head on the top roof of the car. And then the second part was, as I said to you and stated to you, that recorded diatribe where he talked about being like Dr. King or Barack Obama, and she needed to be like Coretta Scott King or Michelle Obama. That made him sound a little delusional, almost like that R. Kelly interview that he did with Gayle King. Jonathan Majors sounds a little bit like R. Kelly, and even though it's different allegations, and he had an action like O.J. Simpson. O.J. Simpson lived a primarily semi-white life for many years. Then he gets in trouble, and then he wants to go back to his blackness. Well, Jonathan Majors did the same thing with Megan Good. He probably has been dating white women or women of different races for a long time, and then once he gets in trouble, it's amazing how the brothers want to always come back to their blackness once that white legal and judicial system comes after them. I don't think that him and Megan Good's relationship is real. I think it's staged. I think when he did that whole rant that she recorded about Dr. King and Michelle Obama, he sounded like he was acting. And I think the jurors looked at that, and yes, the judicial system staged it to where he was going to lose anyway, with 11 white jurors and 1 black female juror. He had a wake-up call. He had a Negro wake-up call. And this happens to brothers all the time, each and every day. When he got into that altercation, he never should have touched that woman, period. He should have just took off running. And then he never should have opened the door and let her back into his house. He called the police, and she's sitting in his closet laying down, and like she's passed out or like she's been beat on. He should have never let her in his house. There were so many signs and signals that he should have left her alone. He stayed too long, and now his entire career, he is going to lose $300 to $400 million over a lifetime, based on those Marvel movies and his trajectory as an actor. And he has made a mistake that he's going to have to pay for and think about forever, while this young lady, who hardly anybody knows, will move on with her life, marry somebody, probably somebody of her same race, and her claim to fame would be the takedown of Jonathan Majors. But when he does this interview on GMA, and the interviewer asked him about did he cause any harm to her with her finger or the bruise behind her ear, his girlfriend had taken his phone. He should have just been honest. He said he didn't do anything wrong. He should have been honest and said, yes, she took my phone and I took it back. And if her finger got injured in the process, it was not deliberate. He still will not be honest about his interaction with that scenario outside of saying that he shouldn't have dated her or he should have left her. But you should have taken responsibility for the actions that were visibly seen on the videos and the damage that she had of her body, the bodily harm. And it was not severe. I didn't think it was cause-worthy for him to lose his career or even get convicted on those 2 misdemeanors. But he won't be honest. He sounds like R. Kelly. He sounded like he was the victim in that entire scenario, and it takes 2 to play. R. Kelly made himself look ridiculous when he did the Gayle King interview. O.J. Simpson has made himself look ridiculous ever since the murders back in the early 90s. The more he talks, the more guilty he sounds. And Jonathan Majors sounds the same way. I think he is smelling his own success and believing the clippings that were made about him as a successful black actor. But there's one thing about acting in Hollywood, and there's another thing about acting in real life. Those are 2 separate scenarios. Real life is real. Hollywood is fake. And he needs to have a wake-up call, which he has had now. And he shouldn't do any more interviews unless he gets together with somebody that can show him and teach him how to take responsibility for his actions, speak and manifest his truth. Because the more that he speaks, the more guilty he sounds. He sounds silly and buffoonery. And to be 34 years old, I don't know if he has any black leaders in his life, a father, an uncle, grandfather, any mentors, but he should be honest. Yes, I snatched my phone back. She injured her finger, but I was trying to recover my phone. He should have never touched her and placed her into the SUV. He should have left. He should have got out of there. He should have never had her enter his house when he went back there and she ends up in his closet on the floor. He made several blunders that make not an ounce of sense, that makes me think that he doesn't have any common sense. And I tell you all the time, for those who watch my videos, we have to apply the 5 senses that God gave us. You have to have a PhD in common sense and understand and have a little legal slant on how to navigate yourself through this world, especially as an African American or black man. And if you want to engage with white women or women of another race that are less fortunate than you. This is a strong Me Too movement that's taking place. Everybody's trying to chase the bag by any means necessary. Now that he got convicted criminally, there's definitely going to be a civil suit that he's going to have to settle and pay her some money, and she will move on with her life. But this is going to be a harbinger for him forever. Thank you for listening to the Trevor Dowling Experience. See you next time.